Good afternoon, friends. On behalf of Brandfest, organized by Brand Club Ahmedabad, I invite you to the second session of the day two, where we have two seasoned stalwarts and professional with us. Mr. Ambi Parmeshwaram, whom I have been reading, I have been watching, I have been hearing during my career, and we are fortunate enough to have him here today. Along with him, we have Vibhuti, who is an old friend as well as a seasoned professional for, I think, more than 30 years into this industry. And we are again fortunate to have her to coordinate this session. So over to you, Vibhuti.
Thank you so much. Very good afternoon to all of you and Happy New Year. I wish all of us have more peace, more health, and more success in this year. It has really been a privilege for me to join this session with Mr. M.B. Parmeshwaran because he has been one personality, which everyone in the advertising agency will see as ideal person who has taken his career forward in a complete 360-degree manner, be it his qualification, be it his experience, be it the way he has worked on a different variety of brands, and over and above having such a rich education and experience, he has been able to make time to write 10 award winning books. I think I would recommend each one of you to read this book of his, which he is going to take us through today. The session also is going to be very interesting because it is on branding and how changes in this society gets reflected in advertising that we see. Normally, we always evaluate advertising as a good ad or a bad ad, but we have never seen the ads with the lens of changing culture and the society. So this book which he has written, the name of the book is also very nicely chosen as Nawabs, Newts and Noodles, takes us through the kind of changes, and he has segmented these changes also very nicely as the changes that we see in people. So if you would have seen the Nirma ad in old days, you see all Sushmas, Jaya, Hema, all of them washing clothes. And if you see the ad today, they are pushing the ambulance. So you see the reflection, how the things have changed. If you see the ad of Santur earlier days, then it has always been, the brand promise always has remained the same, which has been, how to make your skin edgeless. However, earlier days it was always a pretty looking girl in the wedding mandap, whereas today you see a girl who is a professional fashion photographer. So that is nothing but the reflection of societal changes which gets reflected in the ads. No ad is good if it is not reflecting the right kind of consumer insight. The ads are always developed with after getting very good insights into the mind of a consumer, be it Thanda Matlab Coca-Cola or Kuch Meetha Ho Jaye. If you read this book, I think without experience and without qualification, you will be able to understand what advertising is all about. And the book does not end at showing the different kinds of narratives, how the changes in the society, in the people, in the product or the ad narratives have reflected the changes around us. But it is also summarizing the trends that we are looking forward to, or which we are likely to see in a very short span of time. So it is a complete book which gives you a holistic picture of the business of ideas in which we live in advertising. And according to me, branding is something which is the most difficult part of any business, because branding is very, very similar to nurturing and parenting. So you may make money, you can do a business, but making a brand is far more difficult than making profits. And this is what I think, MB is trying to teach us through this book. So over to MB. We
Thank you.
look forward to learn more from you.
Thank you, Viti. I think you've given a good introduction to what I'm going to talk about. Let me just start sharing the screen. So what I will do is I'll speak for around 45 minutes, and then we can get into a Q&A required. One suggestion is, if there is any problem in the presentation in terms of video, audio problem, you can put that in the chat box, and I will, get my headphone and all that changed, right? So you can hear me, right? I mean, it's fine. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So the talk is going to be broadly on brands and the changing socio-cultural context. It's based on my book, Nawab Noodles, which interestingly is launched in 2014. So it's about 6 years old, and I'm happy that, not only is the book still available, but I keep getting invited for these kind of forums to talk about my book. So happy to be here. So let's pull back and look at what is the changing society, and why does it make sense to look at the changing advertising images, right? So why does it even make sense to look at ads and say, look, are they reflecting society? So, books have been written by authors on movies and how Bollywood reflects a change in society, right? Bollywood reflects society. Like, for example, the entire angry young man face of Amitabh Bachchan was a reflection of unemployment, of inflation, right? Then later, the Dilwale Dulhania, the lover boy image of Shah Rukh Khan was reflecting a new reality of Indians wanting to travel abroad, live, the NRI Indian was coming back, etc., etc. So just as Bollywood or Indian films reflect society, no one has actually done this, so I decided to look at it and say, look, can we look at society through the lens of advertising? Because advertising often reflects society, societal change. And sometimes it drives a little bit of change maybe, and sometimes it predicts change. So if you pull back, and say that, look, how was India? This was India in the 60s and 70s. We had one international airline, one domestic airline. We had 2 brands of cars, maybe 2 brands of refrigerators, a couple of brands of television, a couple of brands of transistor radio. But today it is very different, right? We're talking of a country of 1.3 billion people, probably 800 million people have mobile phones, 400 million people are accessing the mobile phone, accessing the internet through the mobile phone. We're talking of supermarkets, we're talking of online ordering, we're talking of bullet train. And if you look at it, there's dramatic changes happened in stages. Right? It's not as if it happened suddenly, it happened in stages, but I think post 95 is when the changes dramatically accelerated. Okay, so this book is not a history book. It's a look at how advertising has mapped the societal change. And so the book is grouped into 4 sections. Each section looks at specific topics. And what I will do today is to take you through some of the topics from the book. The advantage of, obviously, I can't cover the whole 300-page book in this 40-minute talk, but I will give you some glimpses. The advantage of doing this talk is that I can actually play ads. So you can get to see ads from the viewpoint of how it is reflecting the changing society. So let's start with marriage. And in India, pressure cooker defined a happily married life. What do I mean by pressure cooker defined? In fact, let me play the ad and tell you the story behind the ad. This is a very famous ad done for a brand of pressure cooker called Prestige. And it was presented as a symbol of true love. Now you may wonder when the ad was made. Let's look at the ad and then we'll talk about it.
आइए जनाब आइए, कहिए क्या चाहिए?
जी वो, हाँ, एक प्रेशर कुकर चाहिए।
प्रेशर कुकर? क्यों नहीं। आप अपनी बीवी से कितना प्यार करते हैं ये तो बताइए।
क्या मतलब है आपका?
मतलब है मान लीजिए आप अपनी बीवी को सिर्फ थोड़ा सा चाहते हैं अगर, तो कोई भी चलेगा प्रेशर कुकर। लेकिन अगर थोड़ा ज्यादा लगाव है जनाब, तो थोड़ा अच्छा प्रेशर कुकर लेके देंगे आप। अगर अपनी जान से भी ज्यादा प्यारी है इनकी जान, तो फिर ये 100% सुरक्षित प्रेस्टीज लेके देंगे श्रीमान।
लेकिन प्रेस्टीज ही क्यों?
क्योंकि सिर्फ इसी में है अनोखा गास्केट रिलीज सिस्टम, जिससे जरा भी खतरा नहीं रहता। ये देखिए, ये इस तरह काम करता है। अगर कुछ दाने वेट वेंट में फंस जाए, तो साधारण प्रेशर कुकर में जरूरत से ज्यादा प्रेशर जमा होने से खतरा पैदा हो सकता है। लेकिन नए प्रेस्टीज में सेफ्टी प्लग कैसा भी लगा हो, अनोखे गास्केट रिलीज सिस्टम की वजह से आप सुरक्षित रूप से बाहर निकल जाती है।
जी, तो प्रेस्टीज ही दीजिए।
जो बीवी से सचमुच करते प्यार, वो प्रेस्टीज से कैसे करें इनकार?
Now, this ad I thought was made in the 70s, but later when I spoke to Prahlad Kakkar, who's the director of this film, he said it was made around 1985 because, as you can see, it's a color ad, and the color TV came to India only in the mid 80s. Interesting thing is in that ad, if you see, the wife is there, but she doesn't say a single word. It's all the husband talking to the shopkeeper. So this was almost what defined marriage in India. That you want to show true love, you went and bought her a prestige pressure cooker. It was not only pressure cooker, but a lot of other ads also reflected a different kind of an equation between husband and wife. For example, this one, which is a Will's filter ad, said, made for each other. And interestingly, this print ad ran unchanged for something like 10 years in all the leading newspapers and magazines. This ad used to appear. And in fact, Will's, ITC is a very pioneering, innovative company. So they used to run a contest called the Made for Each Other contest, where a couple was selected as the Made for Each Other couple, Will's Made for Each Other couple of India. And they used to have contests, rounds used to happen in Bombay, Madras, then Delhi, and then finals was in Kolkata. And the grand winner got an ambassador car as a present. So again, here you can see the kind of male dominance in the marriage coming through. But this is no longer the case today. In today's marital equation, at least in urban India, in the more educated households, it is very different, right? The equation is very different, which is captured quite wonderfully by this ad, which came out, I think, in the year 2010 or so.
चॉइस नहीं है, तुम्हें ये करना ही पड़ेगा।
लेकिन प्रिया, इतने कम टाइम में ये सब कैसे होगा?
Sorry guys, you'll have to manage it. Okay? You should start now. Hi, how's it going?
Okay.
कुछ हो तो कॉल करना।
Okay.
बाय। बाय। अच्छा रोहित, मैं घर पहुंच रही हूँ। तुम डिनर में क्या खाओगे? ओके।
टाइम लगेगा। बॉस ने बहुत काम दिया है। बाय।
बॉस को बोलो कि वाइफ बुला रही है।
तुम ही बोलो ना बॉस को।
जल्दी आना, वेट करूंगी।
कभी कभी बस एक स्मार्टफोन लाइफ में थोड़ा मैजिक ला सकता है। तभी तो खास स्मार्टफोन्स के लिए बना है एयरटेल, द स्मार्टफोन नेटवर्क।
I thought this was a very, very good ad. But this got criticized in social media, but not by the Husbands Association of India. It got criticized because it said that why are you still showing her in a gender-defined, stereotypical role of going home and cooking? But I think it still deserves to be here. It still deserves to be praised because it started showing a new definition of marriage, and that's coming, whether we like it or not. Maybe pandemic may have speeded this up. What role does a man play, what role does a woman play in a marriage is going to keep changing. And I've given some numbers which I pulled out from the US, where the male is actually doing grocery shopping, 49%, 43% are doing cooking, and 40% are actually looking after the children, taking them to school, dropping them to school. So this may not be true of the whole of India, but I think if you look at urban India, big city India, this is going to be happening, whether we like it or not. And therefore, when I talk to young students, I say, look, if you're a male, you better learn how to cook, because you're not going to be able to find a girlfriend. No one will agree to marry you if you don't know how to cook. So that's how marriage has changed and how advertising has reflected that marriage. Let's go to old age. In India, old age in the 60s and 70s was all about, goli kha ke jita hu, pilgrim pe jana hai, but that's changing now. Now it's gone to holidays. And old age is no longer boring, at least in advertising terms. So let me play one ad which kind of captures the whole idea of goli kha ke jeena hai. A number of ads have done this kind of stuff, but this is my favorite.
जब मैं छोटा लड़का था बड़ी शरारत करता था मेरी चोरी पकड़ी जाती जब रोशन होता बजाज अब मैं बिल्कुल बूढ़ा हूँ गोली खाकर जीता हूँ लेकिन आज भी घर के अंदर रोशनी देता बजाज रोशनी की दुनिया का सरताज बजाज.
This is, the 60s, 70s, 80s kind of advertising, but in the 2000s, we are seeing a different narrative. And this is an ad. Old man comes home, he sees his wife is stitching something, he puts a little box, she opens the box and there's a gold ring. And she says, is umar mein heere? And he replies, heere ko kya pata, tera umar kya hai? Any idea which brand was being advertised? Can you put in the chat box? Maulik? No one is wanting to guess. Might be Tanishq, Usha, Bajaj. Arre, Bajaj can't be Bajaj again, right? I just showed Bajaj. It's not Tanishq Insurance Company. Yeah, Maulik, you're very close, but in normal groups when I discuss this, no one gets it. Actually, SBI Life Insurance, which did this. It was SBI Life, but it's a great ad, but the brand connect is a little remote, so the brand doesn't get the benefit. In fact, probably Tanishq ended up selling a lot of diamond rings. But this presents one view of old age, where you have enough money that you're willing to give gifts to your wife. Or this one where the husband, the old man is saying, I'm packing. So the wife says, what do you want to pack? Where are you going? You came back from a holiday just now. He said, no, my friend Sharma, walking friend Sharma's sister's granddaughter is getting married in Kolkata. And she says, you got, you're going all the way for attending a wedding. You got nothing better to do. He says, yeah, I've got nothing better to do. So the life expectancy is moving up dramatically in the last 20 years. It has moved up to probably 70 years now. And the old are no longer totally dependent on their children. In fact, today's Economic Times, there's an interesting survey among old people that close to, I think, 65, 70% live on their own, which means they live in their own house or they own the house or they rent their own house. So the old people today have saved enough money. So they are kind of having some fun, but maybe that's advertising. In reality, maybe old people are going through a fair bit of tension about, paying for health insurance. And nowadays with COVID, the big fear, what will be the cost of treatment, whether you have enough health insurance. So there are those fears which are going through people's mind, right? So that's, we saw marriage, we saw old age. Let's look at young people. India is a country full of children, very young country. So kids have been used to sell every product possible, right? There is Rasna, which showed that girl, I love you, Rasna. And then there is the Complan ad, old ad featuring, who's this guy? Sahid Kapoor and Aisha Takia. And my old agency did the ad with with that yellow colored dressed kid running around with giant sized food. But my favorite ad, as far as ad featuring a child is concerned, is an ad which is today probably 27 or 28 years old. Any idea which ad I'm talking about, which is hidden behind this black box? Maulik? No, yaar. No, not Amul. Let me play this ad. Rasna, no. Boost, no. Complan Rasna, no. Cadbury, no. No. Dara, yes. Yes.
अरे बबलू, यहाँ क्या कर रहे हो?
सब गुस्सा करते हैं, मैं घर छोड़ के जा रहा हूँ।
मगर घर में तो मम्मी ने गर्मा गर्म जलेबियाँ बनाई है।
जलेबी?
तो क्या तय किया आपने?
जाना तो है, मगर
20-25 साल बाद अनोखी शुद्धता, अनोखा असर।
So, the guy who wrote the script, Jagdish Acharya, met me a couple of years ago when this film was written about. And he said, originally they had written Kachori. And when shooting the film, the director said, no, Kachori doesn't sound right. Let's change it to Jalebi. And as some of you posted here, Jalebi as a word, if I tell anyone who's somewhat, interested in advertising, you remember a Jalebi ad, people say that. The interesting thing about this ad, and I can go talking about this, it's a great story told in 30 seconds. The kid has run away from home. An old man meets the kid in the railway station. In my book, I'd written the old man is a postman. And my young editor, who's 25 years away, said, how do you know he's a postman? And I said, look,
maybe your voice is, you're not very audible. It's not very clear.
So let me do one thing. That's why thank you for alerting. Sometimes what happens is the sound goes after I play an ad. So let me, can you hear me now better?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it comes, usually it comes back after a little while anyway. So I said is a postman, and my editor said, look, how do you know it's a postman? And I said, look, semiotically speaking, semiotic study of signs, right? He's dressed in a khaki uniform, he has a cycle, and he knows the kid knows him, and he takes the kid home. So semiotic. So this is great storytelling. And at home, interestingly, the parents are not panicking. They are making jalebi, which means this kid probably runs away regularly. And somewhere or the other, he's found and brought back. So we've had a lot of ads like this, showing very cute kids doing funny things. And almost all the ads showed kids like this. But then in the last 10 years, we're seeing a different type of kid ad. So let me play one.
मेरे बेटे को जीत की आदत तब लगेगी जब वो मुझे हराएगा, तब नहीं जब मैं उसे जीतने दूंगी। आखिर आदतें ना एक दिन में बनती हैं ना आसानी से, और ये बच्चों को घर बैठे नहीं सिखाया जाता। तो जिस दिन वो मुझे हराएगा, मैं जीत जाऊंगी। सिर्फ एक माँ अच्छी आदतों की अहमियत समझती है, इसलिए मैं उसे रोज बॉर्नवीटा देती हूँ।
So this is idea of very aggressive parenting, and this is not something we invented. It actually started in Asia, especially China, where this whole concept of tiger mom came up. Heavy duty coaching of children at young age. And also at the other end, children are getting spoiled, nuclear families. And so advertising, at least for some brands, are reflecting this new form of parenting. So it's no longer kids are, nice, cuddly. You want the kid to be. So earlier days, if the parent meets the child or the grandparent meets the child, the first thing they say, "Are patle ho gaye ho." But now it may be the opposite, saying, "Are mote hote ja rahe ho, mote mat ho jao." So there is a different metaphor which is at work here as far as children are concerned. Now, let's move to men. India has had a whole lot of macho men-oriented advertising, whether it is the old, Vinod Khanna, Synthol, or the Lifebuoy, Tandoorchi Raksha, or Jackie Shroff and Relax Have a Charminar, or Dalip Tahil and VIP. But a lot of that changed in 2005 with the launch of Fair and Handsome Fairness Cream. Now, they tested the product in Andhra. It became a 100 crore brand in 1 year, and they took it national. Outstanding example of spotting an opportunity that men are wanting to apply cosmetics. And it's not that it's a revolutionary discovery. Even Hindustan Lever knew that men were applying Fair and Lovely, but it was this company from Kolkata who figured out there is an opportunity for building a big brand in that segment. And they opened the floodgate. Today, if you do visits and do even to a middle class home and check out how many cosmetics they have in the house, and we've done that study, you find that there are probably 3 or 4 women cosmetics, and there are also 3 or 4 men cosmetics. There may be a men fairness cream, men face wash, hair gel, deo, all this. Now, all this has come into the middle class home in the last 10-15 years. Before that, probably there was a deo, but nothing more than that. Now, even if you have a beard, there are there's someone speaking. Can you mute yourself, please?
I would request all others to mute.
So, today you have, even if you have a beard, there are probably 10 different products you can buy and use. And so this idea is that from macho men in India, we become men who moisturize, right? And why are we moisturizing? Men are moisturizing because the most threatened species. Women are becoming more educated, more aggressive, more demanding. Children are becoming more demanding. As a result, men are under threat. And what are they doing to rebel? They're applying more and more moisturizers, right? I mean, that's a comment in light. In India, we've had basically 2 big celebrations. One celebration is Diwali, which is a national celebration. The other celebration we've had is not what is going through your head. It's not Holi, it's not Navaratri, it's not Ugadi, it's not Ganpati, it's not Eid, it's not Christmas. It is, any idea what I'm talking about? No.
Winning cricket match against Pakistan?
No. Okay, let me play this. I don't think we'll get there because everyone is saying cricket.
सुनिए, लड़के के माँ बाप आए हैं।
नमस्कार।
शादी।
बारात ठीक 8 बजे पहुंच जाएगी, पर हम आपसे एक बात कहना तो भूल ही गए। घबराइए नहीं, हमें कुछ नहीं चाहिए। हम इतना चाहते हैं कि आप बारातियों का स्वागत पान पराग से कीजिए।
ओह, पान पराग, हमें क्या मालूम आप भी पान पराग के शौकीन हैं। ये लीजिए पान पराग।
पान पराग।
पान मसाला, पान पराग।
So there must have been probably 1,000 ads created with Shadi as a motive, because Shadi is a big occasion where people go and buy, and we'll look at another brand later which exploited the Indian Shadi phenomenon. Shadi is celebrated across the country, right? And this brand, I like this ad a lot. The brand I don't think it exists, but this ad is a great fun ad. So when you talk of celebration, you either showed Shadi in an ad or you showed Diwali. Basically, these are the 2 celebrations nationally happening, but that has changed. In the last 10-15 years, we are seeing a whole variety of new festivals which have been unearthed by marketers. whether it is Ramzan, Valentine's Day, Christmas, now even Halloween, and of course from our itihas, there are new and new festivals being unearthed. Karwa Chauth, Akshay Tritiya have all become kind of national festivals of consumption. So interestingly, there are some ads get trolled, which I'm not going to talk about ads which got trolled. But sometimes brands treat this beautifully. And let me play an ad which I thought handled this entire religious conflict and celebration in a very nice way.
डॉक्टर ये ना इमरजेंसी है
पुत्र डॉक्टर नहीं आ रही ओटी तैयार करो आप रुकिए घबरा मत सब खैरियत डॉक्टर थैंक यू कल तो शीशा छट के नहीं माँ जी ये तो मेरा फर्ज था मैं चलती हूँ पुत्र आज अगर हमारे साथ ही इसकी क्या जरूरत थी पहली बार सजाया है शायद कोई कमी रह गई हो
नेकी के इस त्योहार को सबके साथ मनाइए बिग बाजार मेकिंग इंडिया ब्यूटीफुल
So in India, we have so many festivals, and I think a lot of companies have managed to unearth a lot of interesting festivals and link the festival to consumption. So we are a high saving society. We save, 10 years ago, we were saving 35%. Now we're saving probably 28, 29%. This year, maybe much less. We like to save. And how do you get people to buy new clothes, buy new jewelry, buy new car, buy new TV? Is by saying this occasion is good for you to go and buy. So I think brands have captured that extremely well, right? Now we come to jobs. Hundreds of ads have been made showing that if you use this product, you will get a good job. So there was Wheel, the launch ad of Wheel showed a guy coming back from home with a dirty shirt, and then his wife then uses Wheel. He wears a nice shirt, gets a job. Ponds, the lady is getting ready for an interview. She applies Ponds talc and she gets the interview. Or this one where this girl goes for an interview for a job, doesn't get the job, very upset. But the neighborhood girl gives her Fair and Lovely. She applies a Fair and Lovely cream, becomes fair, and she gets the air hostess job. And this ad actually turned the fortunes of the company, because till then, Fair and Lovely was only talking of fairness to get married, fairness to get married, fairness to get married. And suddenly they understood the change in society and they said, look, fairness to get a job. And this ad worked well for the brand, but it was rated as one of the worst ads of the decade. But even jobs are changing, right? Today, what do people quit? Do they quit their job? Well, research says at least probably people attending the Zoom meeting and maybe people from the top business schools and top engineering schools, you're not quitting your job, you're quitting your boss. And one brand in 2005 captured this ethos brilliantly well. And let me play an ad.
Sir, report 1. Report 2. But sir...
Shut up!
Sir, hotel reservation desk on line 2.
Yes, I would like to book a table for 2.
Sure, sir.
Poolside.
Your name, sir?
Hari Sadhu.
What, sir?
Hari Sadhu.
Sir, may I? Yes, write down Hari Sadhu. H for Hitler, A for arrogant, R for rascal, I for idiot. That's right. Now write Sadhu. S for
shameless.
So this ad captured the new idiom, which is people don't quit their jobs. And as Muskan has said, people quit their bosses. And this turned around to build a very successful company called InfoEdge, which went and did an IPO. And now, Sanjeev Bikhchandani is a genuine .com billionaire, right? But if I talk to HR managers, they have a bigger problem in India, which is you have at one level large number of unemployed people knocking on your doors for a job, and at the other end, you have your top probably 100 managers who can quit your company any point of time because they can get an offer better than you. So it's a huge conundrum as far as HR managers are concerned, and this probably will continue for the foreseeable future. So that is job. So we looked at different types. Now let's go to the last three topics I want to talk about for the next 10 minutes. Nawabs. We've had, this country is a country of Nawabs. We've had Nawabs in Firangi, in Banglalas, and we also had Nawabs in suits, right? And Nawab of Pataudi modeled very successfully a brand called Gwalior. And of course, from your city, only Vimal had, for the first time, used a cricketer. Any idea who this guy is?
Vinod Kamli?
Vivian Richards.
Vivian Richards, right? Vivian Richards. Yeah, Vivian Richards. And of course, Raymond had this entire Complete Man campaign. And Maine Pyar Kiya used Salman. And I'm not a big fan of Salman Bhai. But in that movie, Salman Bhai was shown largely in a pair of jeans. And interestingly, around the, during my growing up years, the 70s and probably 60s, 70s, and 80s, jeans was a very, international concept. You did not get jeans in India. You asked people to, so I think Megha, you come with your question at the end. Huh? So, but interestingly, Maine Pyar Kiya was the first Hindi film where the hero wears a pair of jeans almost right through the film. And in a sense, today, if you see Nariyalwalas, auto rickshaw walas, everyone wears a pair of jeans, and probably thanks to Salman Bhai. So if that was, men, women, we had a lot of sari advertising. Every newspaper, every magazine used to be full of sari ads, right? Whether it is Vimal, Kata, or Garden, etc., etc. But I think, at least in advertising terms, showing sari has dramatically dropped. As a result, two ladies in Bangalore did this thing called a 100 sari pack. They said, look, we're going to wear sari every day, and we're going to post our sari photographs on Instagram, etc. But they said we'll bring back sari, but sari is not coming back. Of course, upper income, they wear saris for weddings and all that. Poor people wear saris, but in the middle, the whole chunk, people are not wearing saris. They're wearing trousers, they're wearing salwar suits, they're wearing kurtis, etc., etc. So dramatic change. Okay, great opportunity for branding and doing interesting stuff there. Again, a company from Kolkata managed to spot the change in Indian ethnic wear. The brand called Manyavar, it's valued at about 3,000 crores today, 1,000 crore sales. Now, they said Indian weddings are changing, and there's Raymond still thinks that people wear suits. We will change that, and they came out with a whole range of these very garish, what I call garish menswear, and became a huge brand. But they spotted an opportunity, changing society, that weddings are changing. They're becoming 3-day, 4-day affair, and men are dressing in all kinds of dresses there. And there is an opportunity to take literally a commodity, which is a patterned kurta, into a brand. And Manyavar started off literally by husband and wife team in Newmarket, Kolkata, and today it's there all over the country, very, very successful. And who lost out on this opportunity? A brand called Raymond, which probably gets 25% of its sale from wedding-related suits, right? So dramatic change in the way we are dressing. Now let's go to noodles, and before noodles, biscuits. A biscuit is a product category which is not genuine to India. It's alien to India. It came from outside India. But today we have biscuits in every home of India, whether it is urban, rural, upper income, middle income, lower income. There are biscuits all over the place. And my favorite biscuit ad is this one.
अरे ओ कालिया, कहाँ से मेरे लिए क्या ला रहे? ये बिस्किट लाया सरदार। अरे ओ सामा, ये देखा तूने? बच गया। मैंने 1000 बार कहा कि मुझे असली चीज चाहिए। असली चीज समझे? अब आएगा मजा। मिठाइयाँ ग्लूकोज डी। गाँव का हर बच्चा जानता है कि गब्बर की असली पसंद क्या है। असली चीज समझे?
असली ग्लूकोज से भरपूर ब्रिटानिया ग्लूकोज डी, ज्यादा स्वाद, ज्यादा शक्ति।
This ad was a very successful ad. It used to run in cinema halls and things like that. But the brand did not succeed, and it, don't get into this complicated analysis. Is it because he's a villain, etc.? No, I think the brand did not succeed because it was called Britannia Glucose D, and Glucose D is not a registered name. So Sanjay can launch Sanjay Glucose D, Ambi can launch Ambi Glucose D, Vibhuti can launch Vibhuti Glucose D. In fact, even Parle was caught in this trap because it was originally the brand was called Parle Gluco. And everyone, Sanjay, me, Vibhuti can launch a gluco. But they fixed it by changing the name very dramatically. But 25 years ago, they changed the name to Parle G. They could register the brand name, and today Parle G is the largest selling biscuit brand in the world. It's made in 40 different plants across India. And during the lockdown, they had a bumper sale because everyone, that was the simplest, poor people to rich people, to ultra rich people, everyone, it's like a staple diet in many parts of India. A pack of 5 rupee Parle G with tea is the breakfast that a lot of people eat. So biscuits have grown because they managed to attract the right packaging, the right pricing, the right positioning, the right availability. Another product which is really alien to most of the country, which became very big and popular, is Maggi. And a good friend of mine, Sangeeta, has written a lovely book called The 2-Minute Revolution. Again, Maggi ticked all the right buttons. Easy availability, very attractive pricing, very easy to make, and of course, advertising. Advertising was very clearly sharply positioned, sharply focused on one usage occasion. What was that one usage occasion? When kids come home hungry from school in the evening, the mom can make it in 2 minutes. So kids come running home from school. They say, "Mummy, bhook lagi hai," and the mom says, "2 minute, minute mein taiyar, khane mein mazedar." Great success. It got into some trouble some time back because of various misinterpretation of rules, but they are back in a very big way. And interestingly, Santosh Desai written about it, and I think it's right. The Indian, we put everything on the thali and eat, right? We put rice, chapati, and we put sabji, pickle, everything. Now, the battle for branding has actually started from the outside. So you started, converted consumers to switch from homemade pickle to bottled pickle, homemade papads to packaged papads, and then slowly it's moving inside. And I think COVID has created a huge opportunity for packaged branded products. People have been locked in home, children have been locked at home, they've been cribbing, cursing, so the moms and nowadays even dads have been forced to cook new stuff, very interesting stuff. As a result, today brands have started making an entry into the middle of the thali. And I think this change, my prediction is this change may continue. Even after the lockdown is over, we will start looking at very interesting new products, whether it is a tacos or whether it is pasta, all this is going to continue. Now let's go to nudes, right? The second part of my book title, Nudes, and this is an old ad, ran only once. Nude models wanted, picture chubby, chin double, skin peachy, hair preferably eyes brown, age 8 to 12 months. This is an ad for baby models. It ran only once in midday, and I think that particular Sunday they had hundreds of babies outside. So this ad was a nice, clean, good ad. Today it may not run because no company will allow this kind of a provocative ad to run because they become a lot scared of trolls. And of course, this one, which is Milind Soman, Madhu Sapre, and the Python, became a court case. The court case ran for something like 20 years. In fact, recently, Milind Soman again got into some controversy because he was spotted running nude in Goa. So this man tends to get into some kind of controversy, though he looks perfectly the same. 25 years later, he's probably 50 years now. Kama Sutra again used this. So we've gone through a whole gamut of change in India, whether it is the way marriages have changed, Men have changed, jobs have changed, children have changed, foods have changed, everything is changing, and all that change is being reflected by advertising. But what is the role of brands? Should I start show just ritualized view, or should I look at new visualization? So I call that, the famous book called Gender Advertisement, written by Irving Goffman. Uh, he talks of hyper ritualization, but I think today, if you see the Bonvita ad, the 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 Airtel ad, it's showing a new kind of equation, neo visualization. Problem is today there is a lot of pushback happening. So let's see how this pans out over the next few years. But brands can succeed if they manage to navigate this territory and visualize new roles. Brands, in fact, have spotted social trends. Like, for example, the Lalita ji ad of Surf, where an aggressive woman fights with a shopkeeper, led to a TV serial created later, inspired by Lalita ji, called Rajni. Okay, and of course, brands. This is a famous campaign called Share the Load. All of you may have seen it. I will not go into it again. A great example of an Indian agency working with a global brand to create advertising on gender definition of roles. Why should it be that only women should wash clothes? Why can't men learn to wash clothes? And this has gone on to be globally applauded as a very successful example. Or brands which have taken up interesting causes. Let me play this ad.
It might not be the right time, I might not be the right one, but there's something about us I want to say, because there's something between us anyway.
Interestingly, that fast track ad ran on television. It was a LGBTQ kind of an ad, and it did pretty well for the brand and defined the brand in a particular space, that you're a free-spirited kind of a brand, right? These are things which brands should do. Advertising economy is expected to come back with a bang, grow by more than 7% next year, and that should continue to grow. Advertising, we are still a very under-advertised market. Our advertising to GDP ratio is still about 0.42 or so, whereas even Malaysia, Indonesia, it is 1.1. America, of course, 1.5. So we've got a lot of headroom to grow. A lot of advertising needs to be done for a lot of product categories which are not advertised. And then, of course, we talk of digital revolution. People say that consumers become very digital. Everything is going to be very digital, and digital marketing guys will show you stuff like this. Digital is very, very complicated. There are hundreds of tools. And some of them, organic acquisition, paid acquisition, analytic, marketing automation, retention, blah, 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 blah. It scare the hell out of anyone, including people who are in the wrong age group like me. But the truth is that more things change, more they are the same. Because you have to remember, what is the role of marketing? What is the role of marketing? No one wants to answer that. It's an easy question. Right. Marketing's role is to understand consumers. So as consumers change more and more, you got to understand consumers. You cannot get distracted by the glitz and glamour of digital. If the consumer is using something digital, you need to reach him through digital. Because if you lose your focus on the consumer, you're going to lose plot. You're going to lose the plot. As Peter Drucker said, the purpose of business is to create and keep a consumer. So you got to understand the consumer. You cannot say, I need to post, on Facebook 3 times a day. It doesn't matter. If your consumer is not going to see it, it doesn't matter whether you post 3 times a day or twice a day, or you're not even active on Facebook, right? So with that, let me close. Thank you very much for the opportunity. The book is done very well. It's available. In fact, I'm sorry that we didn't do this in July, because in July for about a month, this book is actually available as a free download on Kindle. Not anymore. You have to pay a small amount for it. And of course, Harish Bhatt of Tata mentioned it as one of the 6 books he recommends everyone should read. So thanks to him. And of course, October, I launched my new book, Spring: Bouncing Back from Rejection. Young people here may find that of interest. about how you need to build your internal spring in order to face the challenges, the rejections, the failures you will face. This book contains about 5 or 6 stories from my own life and about 40 stories which I pulled from other business leaders, sportsmen, authors, etc., etc. So I've written 10 books. These are my 10 books. Some of you may have read 1, 2 of these books. I'd love to get all of you to read all these books and comment about them. You can follow me on LinkedIn, where I'm quite active, and on Twitter and on Facebook. So that's that. I end with this last slide, which is a last plug for my book. And let me stop share. And I think we have 10 minutes for questions. Vibhuti, I think some questions have already come, so we can start with them.
Are you able to hear me?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you're a little less audible.
Yes.
Less audible? Okay. Then let me plug in my... How am I now? Still less audible?
No, it's now okay.
Okay. Yeah. Vibhuti, let's have...
Yeah. So I think, before we get into the chat board and see questions, I would also want you to answer one question of mine. Being in advertising, I have always felt that, there is always an information overload. Whenever you want to develop a campaign and you want, some consumer insights on which you will be developing the campaign, you end up having the information overload. So what is the kind of process that, usually one should follow to funnel the information and focus only on the one insight? Because the campaign that we see, whether it is Kuch Meetha Ho Jaye or Hum Hai Na, they always focus on only one critical insight into the mind of a consumer.
Getting to that one insight may actually make you go and look at a lot of data, right? So you need to sift through all that data, but you got to have the maturity that what will work for you, what will not for you. So the usual trick which we play is that you go through all the data, arrive at maybe 2 or 3 insights which you think are valid. Right. Then you put those insights as some kind of concepts and test those concepts, right? And whichever concept you think works better with consumers, and you go with that, right? So normally when you go into an ad testing situation, you go at least with 2 concepts. Sometimes you go with 3 or maybe 4, but go with those 2 or 3 and then figure out what works best. Because you don't know, sitting in a conference room or in a Zoom meeting, you may think one will work, but in the real life consumers, it may not work. Yeah, thank you.
Can we have some more questions from audience?
There are some questions. Let me pull out. I saw one interesting question. Sir, क्या advertising attractive होनी चाहिए या moral message वाली?
Hello.
And of course, Duri is also asked, sir, don't such ads down the morale of people, like they are showing that fairness is important. Okay,
yeah,
this is an interesting area, and you can get into a debate. Now, if it is legal, one is consumers have certain inherent desires, right? So if in the society consumers desire to be fair, is it illegal to sell a fairness cream? If it's legally okay to sell a fairness cream, is it illegal to advertise it? Right? So where do you draw the line? Right? Even now, when Fair and Lovely name got changed to Glow and Lovely, they changed it largely because there was a global backlash because of Black Lives Matter. And globally in London, they were getting questioned that you're talking of purposeful brands and all that. How come you're selling a fairness cream in this country, in India? And so they had to change it, but they didn't withdraw the product. They didn't sell the brand. They didn't change the formulation even. The brand works. I mean, let's be clear. Fair and Lovely is a 2,000 crore brand, not based on just hot air and advertising. the thing works. Because you apply B7 on your skin, it will make it fairer, right? It has a sun protection factor. It will protect your skin from becoming dark. The trick is, if you stop using it, you'll go back to your old shade of fairness, right? You will not stay that way, but that's okay. So what is right and what is wrong is a very slippery slope. Who are
Right.
you? Who are you to say that ये होनी चाहिए, वो नहीं होनी चाहिए? It is legal. I am within my rights to sell this product. Then I am within my rights to advertise that product, right? So I know that some companies have taken a moral stand that we will not launch a fairness cream, right? Which is fine, good for them, right? But some company may say no. I know consumers are using fairness cream. I'm at least launching a fairness cream which has been tested, so they don't put unknown, untested, gunk on their face. They're not putting steroid. They're not putting lead on their face. This is a tested product. It's a safe product, and it gives you some level of protection from sun or whatever. So I'm arguing the case, saying, look, I am doing it something perfectly legal and something even good for the society. I'm creating employment. I'm creating jobs, right? And I'm protecting girls and boys now that they're not putting dangerous creams on their face. So there are two sides to this. Honi chahiye, nahi honi chahiye. I hope Megha is not very angry with me, but that's my answer.
Another thing which one always sees in advertising is that I don't know, I have experienced that it is much less difficult to create a good ad, but it's very, very difficult to sell one. So any tip that you would like to give the advertising professionals like us as to how one should go about selling the nice campaigns that you develop?
It is, you have to, in my new book, I've explained a story about how Santur, there's a particular campaign which all of us thought was right, but the client did not buy it. And we took us 6 months to sell it. Right? If you believe in something very strongly, you should try and sell it as hard as possible. If the client rejects it, no problem. Do a different ad, present it to the client, and also present what you think is right. Do this once, twice, thrice. The client will know that you are convinced that this will work. Because beyond a point, the client should also know that if the ad doesn't work, who's he going to sack first? You want to sack the agency. So the agency also should realize that, look, I'm putting my neck on the line. I remember once a particular ad, I told my client, he said, no, I don't like it. I said, you may not like it. Take it to your house, show it to your wife and daughter. If they don't like it, I will quit advertising. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'm telling you what I mean. I think this is the right ad for your brand. You don't like it, I agree. Take it home, show it to your wife, show it to your daughter. If they don't like it, I'll quit advertising. And to be fair to him, he called me that Sunday evening at 8 o'clock and he said, look, yaar, first the good news, you don't need to quit advertising. I said, I knew I did not have to quit advertising because I knew your wife and daughter have better taste than you. I mean, I used to be very forthright with my clients and they used to tolerate me. God bless their soul. And they are probably better sensitivities than you. So he said, no, there is some bad news. I said, what's the bad news? ये दो change करना पड़ेगा. वो करेंगे यार. दो क्या 3 change करेंगे. But overall जो मैंने दिखाया वो correct है ना. इस तरह हाँ वो correct है यार. You are right. Now you have to have the courage to stand up and say this. Today, not too many agencies are standing up. And a lot of clients used to say this, yaar, why are you not fighting? And good clients, mind you, I'm sure good clients appreciate their agencies standing up and taking a stand, saying, we believe this is the right ad for your brand. It'll work. In a sense, what are you saying? If it doesn't work, sack me. This is true even in companies. I mean, some of you will become brand managers, in companies. If you're convinced about something, you got to stand up and tell your boss, I'm convinced this will work. If it doesn't work, sack me. That boss will appreciate that, because finally, he's the guy writing the check. It doesn't matter But the fact that you stood up and you stood up for your conviction, not enough people are doing it, and they got to do, you got to do more of that, Vibhuti. Yeah. Thank you. I think, Sanjay, we are at the end of my time, right?
Yeah, exactly. We have one question from Devin coming from Australia.
Hi, sir.
Devin, go ahead.
Yes. So I want to ask a question, putting a situation. Actually, what happens is, see, morning we wake up, we see an ad in newspaper. Then we go watch television, we see the same ad with the same concept. Then, of course, we have a lot of social media platforms. We get the same repetitive ads on various media we use. Then we go outside, we see the same concept on a billboard. Then when I open my mail, I have an ad in my mailbox with the same concept. Now what's happening is that the concept is really good about the ad, but what's happening is that there is a repetition of the concept, and which is reducing the charm or the effect the advertisement should have. And it also, a lot of time, my personal experience says, creates negative effect for a brand. So keeping in mind a lot of media platforms and a lot of way to communicate, how can one select or limit oneself that this will be the medium and this will be the frequency on which we will be communicating to our customers, so that the message,
just to stop you here, that is the job of the media planner. The job of the media planner is to make sure that the consumer doesn't get an excessive exposure of advertising. But invariably, research has said there is what is called advertising wear in and advertising wear out. Wear out takes a long time, right? Wear out takes a long time. It could be 150 exposures before you think that the ad doesn't appeal to me. And consumers don't get too irritated with that. At least in India, our experience is, there is no big problem. But media planners' job is that I don't want to give more than 5 exposures. Therefore, I need to stop. Therefore, I need to bring in a new medium. I need to. So, what are you optimizing for? Are you optimizing for reach? Are you optimizing for OTS? Are you optimizing for a balance of the two? That's the job of the media planner. Good question. That is a job. If you take up media planning, you will figure out a way of handling this. That, beyond this, I don't want to go. Right? Beyond 10 exposures a month, it's a waste. Therefore, I'll, figure out what percentage of my target audience is getting 10 exposures, and I'll remove those channels, so that excessive money is not wasted. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, MB, so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for your enriching session and elevating us again today with your experience, and Vibhuti to be very gracefully handling and putting up the proper questions and handling the situations very well. I thank you on behalf of Brand Club Ahmedabad. Yeah, and as a ritual before we leave, we should have a group photo with everyone. So please switch on your video modes, and we'll have a click. Yeah, good one. Yeah, Mahiman Bhadeka, can you please put on your video? Vishesh, Shubhajit, yeah. Yeah, Rajan, thank you. Vishesh, okay. Pankim Bhai, where are you?
Thank you, Sanjay, for inviting me. Thank you, Bhuti,
my pleasure, sir.
for your
Thanks, MB.
And next time we look forward to the book review of Spring. Next session should be on Spring.
Yes.
Be happy to do that.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vibhuti.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Yeah.
Bye. Have a nice
Audience, looking forward to have you at the 4:30 session, where we have the head of Tata Digital speaking on marketing and technology. So see you all at 4:30. Right. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thanks.
Bye.